Hey, this is ForeGolf Custom, and today we're looking at Nippon Shafts. A little bit of a different scenario for you today. I'm going to look at three specific shafts from the Nippon range. I'm going to look at the 850 GH, I'm going to look at the 950 GH NS Pro, and I'm also going to look at the Tour 105, that Modus Tour 105. These are our three most popular shafts here at Fittings, but we're going to do things a little bit differently. Kind of like if you were getting kind of wine paired with cheese or kind of craft beer with food on a menu. I'm going to show you the shafts and the heads that work best with them, so you can get an understanding about not only how the shafts work, but how they will work with the three different heads that we find work best. The three specific heads we're going to look at. With the 850 GH, we're going to look at the P790 from TaylorMade, a strange combination you might think, but actually one of the best out there. I'm also going to take Callaway's Rogue iron and pair that with the 950 shaft from Nippon. And then finally with the Tour 105, that Modus Tour 105, we're actually going to put that into the Mizuno JPX 919 Forged. This is a video you're going to want to watch because we've got a giveaway. At the end of this video, I'm going to show you how we're going to give away a set of the brand new Nippon NS Pro 950 Neo shaft. We're going to have two lucky winners who are going to win that shaft. So watch to the end and you'll see how we're going to give those away. So when it comes to testing the shafts, I think one of the simplest things to do is let's get it up on TrackMan. So we got TrackMan 4, Dave and I took some shots, and then we got a sense of how the shaft works, and then what was the best head to pair it against. We did have some initial thoughts, but we really wanted to just see what was the best out there. I guess one of the strange things that people are going to get from this is the fact that we've paired them with different heads. And I know the very first one out of the blocks, the NS Pro 850, that's going to be the one when we say that it's with P790. People are going to go, oh no, why would you put it with that shaft? So why would you put it with that shaft?
Well, I mean, from a fittings perspective and an amateur golfer's perspective, there's always that look for distance and speed, coming with less club, more control. So as the ultimate in speed product, the lightweight from the Nippon 850 and the quickest head at a normal decent value money wise, then P790 ticks all those boxes.
And just to note as well, I mean, there are lighter weights in the Nippon range. I mean, they drop down into the 75s, and they've got this phenomenal way of blending carbon fiber and steel together. And you know, one of the reasons we love Nippon is because I guess they're right at the tech edge in terms of lightweight technology. But 85 or 850 is a shaft that we would use a lot, and I love using it because it gives instant feel of the head without having to soften.
Absolutely,
the flex. Let's talk a bit about then the flex range. I mean, it comes in regular and stiff, and I guess one of the great questions is going to be, how do I know if I'm regular or stiff?
So 850, probably subject to contrary belief, is the association is with weight and stiffness. So I think the first point to get over is that just because it is light doesn't mean that it's weak. In fact, 850 is one of the strongest lightweight shafts that the industry has.
That's a great point to note. Worth subscribing for alone. Dave's giving you golden tips here. So 850 as a product plays stiffer than its older brother, the 950.
So I guess then from an argument's perspective, the lighter weight allows for more clubhead speed in most cases. Hence, you're using probably the stiff shaft to control the extra speed that's there more often than not.
Would you use more stiff than regular?
I would use more stiff than regular, but in 850 I would use quite a bit of regular because it's a fairly solid regular at the same sense.
Great point. And then would you use the different flexes then to regulate the flight? Is that how you would use it, or would it based purely on player feel?
I think we're going to go into 950, so we'll start that blend conversation now, but I'd use 850 as my stiffest, and then 950 stiff a little bit softer, and then 850 regular a little bit softer than that, and then 950 regular as the softest in terms of a stiffness profile going down in terms of feel. But I think when it becomes a conversation about speed and getting the golf ball to go as far as it can, you have to be able to control spin, which is why the firmness over the weakness from a spin's perspective.
So 850 and P790, you heard it here, best blended for those two, that shaft and that head. If you're looking at that shaft, that's a really good head to consider. If it's a speed conversation, you're looking for ultimate and speed, they're the two top speed heads, head and shaft together, correct?
Yeah,
so
100%,
speed story. Okay, so one of our favorite shafts of all time. It's been around since 1999. It's had 200 tour wins. It's sold, I think it's, 40 million shafts worldwide in its lifetime. I'd say one of our most popular shafts from players because of how it loads and how it flexes and how it releases. and the fact that it's lightweight, so there's loads of feel in it, is the 950. The NS Pro 950 GH, I suppose it's been one of our
longest stays, most used. Because I guess when it came out, as you said, in 1999, it became the first sub 100 gram shaft to the marketplace.
Yeah.
So
I'm quite ashamed to say that we've been around long enough to remember coming out. Probably
exactly, yeah.
But we've paired this shaft with Callaway's Rogue product, and specifically their Rogue, their normal Rogue head. There's a Rogue and Rogue X. I'll put links to those later on, the actual head reviews that we've done. But the Rogue standard, I guess, is the best head that we found works well with this. Well, and tell me why.
If we're going to put a story around that combination, it's a flight thing. It's getting the ball up into the air. It's making it feel like it's releasing and not cutting. So that traditional low cut, which tends to be an amateur fault, is a very, very good pairing with this, because the 950 hits it higher than the 850, so you get plenty of launch out of it.
Yeah.
Plays a little bit softer, so it rolls in a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
And then when you put it with the Rogue head, with that bit of forgiveness and that little bit of offset, but plenty of loft and plenty of launch, then the thing comes out real nice and stable, real nice and high, and can roll in ever so slightly as it goes.
Well, so people have always, and I got a few questions about this, we're going to bring them in now, but I got a question from somebody saying, how do I know if I'm graphite or steel? And that's a really good question, very valid question. The fact that we're using lightweight steel, is there a way to understand for people watching the videos, I'm graphite or I'm steel?
Well, I mean, lightweight steel revolutionized the market because it gave people the facility of combining two pieces of technology. Certainly the time back 1990s where graphite was heavy and steel was heavy. So you only went graphite if you needed to be light.
Yeah, and just to quantify that, I mean, we were on tour and I remember dealing with shafts where they were 136, 140 grams.
Yeah.
And I mean, now to have a shaft that comes in around that 90, mid-90s is revolutionary and still retains the consistency of feel and the way that it performs is quite remarkable. The fact that it's, so light.
So what steel did is it allowed people who wanted the speed and lightweightness of graphite but with the stability and control of steel. So it became a distance control story, which
gotcha. So
if we're all being honest, that's what we want.
If you're looking for more control, a bit more sort of, I guess, spin control as well, kind of
flight control, getting it up in the air.
Then use a lightweight steel, maybe go a little softer, maybe go to regular. But in this shaft, you're not to be afraid of stiff, are you?
No, because it's really soft and stiff.
And
and that's part of its flight, and that's part of its height.
And I've seen you pumping in X to quite a few clients where normally people would consider X would be a pro or a tour shaft.
Yeah.
In 950, that's not the case.
It's I guess to what a lot of other people, it just plays stiff. Yeah. So the X plays stiff, and then the stiff plays, in old money's terms, firm. It's not too stiff, it's not too soft, it's something in the middle.
Okay, so Rogue with NS Pro 950, great combination.
Yeah.
Story is flight, height, get it up in the air, get it launching. That's a control. The last shaft then, the Modus3 Tour 105. A fairly new shaft to the Modus range. There are other weights in Modus, but we love 105. In fact, I'm using 105 myself. I love the balance of it. I like the fact that I can feel the club head. And it flexes just right for me in terms of how it, I guess, goes off in terms of impact.
Yeah.
We've paired this with Mizuno's JPX 9194s. And I think that's a fairly, that's a fairly good, solid combination. But why did you pick that head?
Again, it's almost the reverse flight conversation we've just had with the Rogue and the 950. It has the word tour in it. I don't. Again, that's not to be confused with being a product that only tour players would use. It's
had 160 wins on tour.
It has,
and it's got quite a few tour players, but that's across the range. But you're right. Don't let that be.
No, because it just in this sense means control of height and control of spin and lowering the launch and keeping it flat through the air and keeping the distance control element going rather than into different winds and downwind and into breeze.
Because it is quite a low spinning, and it works very well with these newer sort of launching heads, the heads that kind of fly it. It does regulate spin really well.
And then the real kind of crux of this and why it works so really, really well is it's almost let's be honest, golf is a sport. We're ever aging. We're getting older as a family of players. So where you and I growing up played Dynamic Gold S300 because it was the stock shaft, I guess it's... Because it always was.
Back in the 1920s.
So it is Dynamic Gold S300 in a modern day profile in terms of performance. It's less heavy, but it still has the same feel. It still has the same flight.
So it's the lightweight players version.
It's the lightweight players
version. And do you
version.
transition guys well from Dynamic Gold into this Tour 105?
They do, because they see that it's lighter, but the modern day head being less heavy as well. That then, because the shafts force the head,
right,
and then the shafts then working better with the head.
So they're going to pick up more distance from this.
They will.
Combination in terms of the head with that the metals, and in terms of the speed off the face, and then 105 as that shaft.
So it gives you a good way of kind of, if you've lost a little bit of distance through age, not being old, but from your 20s to your 40s, it gives you that distance that you would have had back in your 20s, back in your 40s.
A little bit of an age injection.
Absolutely, yeah.
So the last three shafts that we've talked about are all lightweight shafts from Nippon. They obviously do heavier weights. I just wanted to say, be careful with lightweight shafts and that it's all going to work well with you from a fitting perspective. Shaft weight is directly linked to your rhythm and tempo, so please be fitted for the shaft before you put it into your iron. It's the right way to do it, it's the only way to do it, and as it's linked to your rhythm and tempo, you want to make sure that that lightweight is going to work with you and the way that you swing. All shafts from Nippon are made in Japan. One of the reasons why we love working with them and why we use them here in fittings a lot is because of the tolerances that they have. The way that the shafts are all hand inspected and hand inspected by eye right through their line means that the quality of the tolerance of the shaft that comes from the factory matches the way that we get from their fittings. So we love using their product. Also, they've been doing it since 1959, so they've been at it a long time. They know what they're doing. If you want to check out the reviews of the heads that we paired with the shafts, you can see the links down below. I'll put them there and you can see the heads that we paired with the shafts. We've reviewed them already. You can see those videos there. I'm going to give a few shafts away, but not just any shaft. We're going to give away Nippon's brand new 950 Neo shaft. This is their new, much better balanced shaft. It flows better, it kicks better. It's kind of an upgrade or a kind of a juiced up version of their 950, their most successful shaft that they've designed. We're going to give away 2 sets. 2 lucky viewers are going to win these shafts, and they're also going to win a 30-minute fitting session with us. So regretfully, this is probably going to only suit golfers in Ireland, but if you are from the UK or in the US and you fancy traveling over if you win, hey, come on over, we'll fit you up and we'll put the new 950 Neo shaft into your irons, but it will be properly fitted. So what I want to know is, when did Nippon start? Nippon Shaft, when did it start? They celebrated a big birthday this year. I want to know, how old are Nippon Shaft? So if you could answer below in the comments, stick in that number, we'll pick 2 lucky winners and get you in for your fittings. Until the next time, don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell, you'll get notified of the videos when they go live, and appreciate you watching. Hope you're enjoying the content. Pair that with Callaway's, sorry, start again, there. Is it there or there? Or there? Some of the new 950 Neo shafts. So click on the link down below.